Alpha.
Hi, I'm James Loader. I'm the Pro Marketing Manager for Sony UK and Ireland. I'm very lucky to be here today with Ron Timehin, Sony Europe Imaging Ambassador. And Ron is going to be talking to us a little bit about our brand new Alpha 7C camera.
Hey James. Yeah, I've been very fortunate to have my hands on this wonderful piece of kit for the last week or so, and yeah, I've been testing it out, putting it through its paces, and I've come to a verdict. So I'm going to share my thoughts.
Cool, man. Okay, so what did you first think when you saw it then?
Okay, so first impressions are it's incredibly small, it's incredibly light, and the fact that it's got a full frame sensor in this is just beyond belief, really. The power for the size, I mean, it's like compact size pocket power, it's like absolutely insane, but that's the first immediate thing that struck me personally.
And how's it feel? Like, is it, you feel it's nice and solid and
I mean, it's wonderfully
comfortable to
made.
hold?
Yeah, it's very sturdy. I don't feel like it's any cheap materials that have been used in this. It feels like a compact camera, but just more powerful. It's very hard to explain. Wonderfully made, yeah.
And styling wise, what do you make of the kind of new direction for this?
So I love this metal on the top. I think it gives it that very distinctive film camera feel or vibe, which I really love, and it looks very professional. So I think one thing that I loved especially about this is that when you are out shooting in a field or out in the city, it doesn't look like an A7R Mark IV, for example. It doesn't look like a very expensive high-end professional piece of kit. So you can get away looking like a tourist, which makes it incredible for street photography or for just filming things on the go.
And I guess something that lends itself to that as well is that vari-angle screen. Being able to utilize that rather than having it up against your eye again allows you to be a little bit more unobtrusive in those kind of situations, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the vari-angle screen is a dream for me, actually. It allows you to get into unique positions without having to break your back trying to get those unique shots. Yeah, very useful tool to have.
So there's often a bit of a misconception that our Sony full frame glass is rather large. What glass did you take out and play with this?
I mean, there are tons of small lenses. I mean, Sony's range of lenses is extensive now, and I had great fun playing around with the 35 1.8. I've even got, I think, the 35 2.8 as well, which is, I mean, look at that, it's tiny.
Super small, yeah.
And I mean, for me personally, the 35mm focal length is one of my favorites to shoot at. It's such a versatile focal length. Also, the 55 is great, 55 1.8. This is, again, brilliant for street photography and portraiture. And the 16 to 35 f4 as well is actually very small. So yeah, brilliant lenses, and it saves me having to pack a lot of different lenses that are normally quite heavy into my bag. I can just take these and I'm sorted for the day.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you're right, absolutely right. There's a lot of selection in that smaller lens, right? And quite affordable as well, like the 28 f2.
Yeah.
For example, that's a super affordable little lens, and very small like these ones as well. So you managed to take some lovely product shots as well for us, which is most kind. Normally they're a bit boring, but these are really super.
Oh, thank you.
And again, it's really showing how small the product is in your hand, right?
Yeah. It's tiny.
But yeah, some really nice stuff here.
Thank you.
I always impressed that with such a short amount of time that you got to spend with it, that you were able to get such good stuff out of it. But yeah, it really shows how small.
I mean, the design is lovely. I mean, everything, it feels like all the buttons are where they should be, if that makes sense. It just, the ergonomics of this are very good. It just fits in your hand. Even though it's small, you never feel like you're going to drop it or it's loose. Yeah, it's just really nice.
And I've got to admit, I do really like that kind of retro look to it. It's definitely appealing. So, what did you actually go and shoot?
So I shot in my favourite places in London. What I love to shoot, so cityscapes, and yeah, I just put it through its paces. Some of the locations are quite tricky technically to shoot, so I thought it would be a good test to do that. So I think the first location I went to was a place in South Key. I love this view of Canary Wharf, and this is a prime example where the small size and lightweightness of this camera came into play. Was able to pack my tripod in the same bag as my camera, where normally I would have to have it in a separate bag or on the side of my bag. But because it was so small, I could just pop it in with it, and it made everything so much easier. And so yeah, this was on a tripod, 30-second exposure, and you can see it's sharp. This is at f20, I believe, and yeah, the results are amazing. The dynamic range as well that you get from this, because it's full frame as well, it's second to none really.
So low light performance pretty strong with this, yeah?
I mean, yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, some beautiful night shots that you took with it, to be fair. I love the light trail shots.
Thank you.
Really cool.
Yeah, really, really good. I think what also is good is that you got the flat base. So for this one, I didn't even use a tripod. I just propped it up on a flat surface, but because of the way it's built, it just sits there perfectly still, and then don't have to do anything. It's really good.
All about keeping it easy for you.
Yeah.
And this, so then you moved, obviously this is daytime now, so
Yep.
Whereabouts is this?
So this is in Canary Wharf, and I thought this would be a good chance to test out the vari-angle screen, or the fully articulating screen.
Yeah.
And again, it's a game changer for me because I'm used to the older Sony models where the screen pulls out, but the fact that I can actually take it out and flip it into any direction I want actually helped me get some really good wide angle shots, because normally I would use maybe a 12 to 24 to capture all of this in, but because of the screen I was able to take it out and put the camera really low down and turn it up, but still be able to see what I was shooting without having to physically get on the floor, which I normally do, and then I end up getting really dirty. But yeah, so again, really, really nice.
And with that, I guess, giving you something that you weren't able to get before, or without more hassle and effort, right? So
Exactly. I think again with the, I used a similar technique in this location as well, which is in Bank, in the Royal Exchange, and I actually took a vertical photo of this as well, and that's one thing I wasn't really able to do.
I think the vertical's the next one.
Yeah, exactly. With some of the other models that I've used, mainly because the screen wouldn't flip out vertically, so you'd have to physically get down on the ground and shoot up. Whereas you can now flip the screen out and you can just pop it like this and you can see.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really, really fun using that. Yeah.
So do you think that's kind of something that you're going to want in the bag now to give yourself a little bit more creative options
I think
to
so.
be able to shoot like that?
Yeah, for sure. And it also saved my bag. Nice.
So you got some more London cityscape shots. I mean, these are this is your bread and butter, isn't it?
I mean, I love unique locations. Funny enough, some of these locations, you're not generally allowed to bring high-end equipment in, or tripods, or anything that looks professional. But with this, security don't say anything, because you look like a tourist. I mean, it just looks like you're going to take some family photos, but they don't realise there's so much power inside this little thing. So, yeah.
So it allows you a little bit more freedom and access than you would ordinarily get if you had the big camera bag with all the tripod hanging off it and so on. Yeah,
100%.
And then a couple of other night shots here.
Yeah, so this is a great example of the low light capabilities, which actually blew me away. So this image was shot at 3200 ISO. Normally I wouldn't push above 1600, but yeah, at 3200 there's barely any grain. Add a bit of noise reduction and it's absolutely fine, it's good to go. And I think I even shot this at 1/30th of a second handheld.
Okay.
But because of the in-body image stabilization and the low light capabilities, I was just able to pull it off. So yeah, it's definitely a game changer for night photography for me, for sure. I just feel comfortable.
Yeah, I guess because this is not necessarily something you're gonna, be able to just set a tripod up and get those kind of angles. Particularly if you need to just maybe be in the middle of the street or something like that. To be able to handhold is a big deal, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So Ron, the AF performance in this, did you notice anything too much around that? Because this obviously takes a lot from the A7 but it's improved on the low light focusing capabilities from -3 EV up to -4 EV on this one now. So did that help at all, do you think, with some of these night shots?
Definitely. I've been to this location quite a few times actually, and it focused a lot quicker on the buildings in that low light situation. So I definitely noticed an improvement there. I think also just the speed in which it was able to capture what I wanted, or like locate or focus on what I wanted, was incredible. I tested out the different focus modes, and normally I'd use maybe center spot focusing or a variable spot focus, but for this one I just left it on wide and I just let it do its job, and it did it very, very well.
Yeah, certainly looks like it nailed it. Thanks very much for taking us through those exclusive images, first ones out of the camera. So what do you think? What, in summary, is this something that might make it into your kit bag?
In all honesty, I love this way more than I thought I would, and it's made me realize how useful having a compact camera of this ability is, which I didn't think I would ever need, but it's now pretty much become my daily camera. Like, I don't feel like I need to take out my big heavy equipment to everywhere I go. I can take this and feel fully comfortable that I've got the 24 megapixel sensor in there, and for the majority of stuff that I shoot and share, that's absolutely fine. I can keep the A7R4 for my professional commercial work, and you can use the S3 for professional video work, but I think for general use, this is a workhorse. Yeah, it's really, really, really good.
So definitely going in the bag, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. So I hope you enjoyed that first look at the Sony A7C. I know I found it really interesting to see what you thought of it, and to see some of those first images. That was amazing. So thanks so much for joining us, Ron. You're going to be a busy chap today, I know, but really appreciate all of your thoughts around this, and for sharing this this first look at the A7C.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Cheers, Ron.